Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls of all ages. I'm continuing my reviews on the Hellraiser series with Hellraiser Hellseeker. Now, Hellseeker is the sixth film in the Hellraiser franchise, and this came out in 2002. Now, this one, like the previous installment, Hellraiser Inferno, went straight to DVD and video when it came out. This did not come out in the theaters. Now, I actually kind of liked Hellraiser Inferno, but this movie sucks in my opinion. This is definitely one of the worst Hellraiser movies, in my personal opinion. I mean, if you like the movie, that's fine, but personally, I did not like this one at all. Now, the film is pretty much just like Hellraiser Inferno. It literally almost has the same plot line as Hellraiser Inferno. You have a similar character, he's a character who's a very flawed character, having to fight his own personal demons, and he's not sure what's real and what isn't. It's basically the same plot line as Hellraiser Inferno. But it's also pretty much the same plot line as Jacob's Ladder. This is pretty much a ripoff of Jacob's Ladder, and I might seem like kind of a hypocrite for criticizing this movie for being a ripoff of Jacob's Ladder, yet I still liked Hellraiser Inferno, which also had a lot of Jacob's Ladder elements to it. I don't know, I just thought Hellraiser Inferno did it better, but that's not even the main reason why I don't like this movie. The main reason I don't like this movie is they bring back the character of Kirsty Cotton from the original Hellraiser movie, and you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, isn't that a good thing? Well, it would be a good thing, but the way they bring her back is actually kind of insulting to fans of the character, and, really doesn't do the character justice at all. And the way they bring Kirsty back in this movie just sucks, in my opinion, and it might as well have not been the same character, and it really doesn't even feel like the same character. It feels like Ashley Laurence, and don't get me wrong, I think Ashley Laurence does do a good job in the scenes that she's in, but I mean, it just seems like she's playing a different character, and there's only a brief reference to her father and her Uncle Frank, who were characters from the first movie, loosely connecting it to the first movie, and of course, you do get an idea that there's a connection between her and the puzzle box, but that's it. Besides that, it really does feel like a different character, and she's not even the main character in the movie. The main character is her husband, and originally, Kirsty wasn't even gonna come back in this movie. I was at a horror convention a couple of years ago, and there was this panel, this Q&A panel on the Hellraiser movies, and there was Doug Bradley, who played Pinhead, and Ashley Laurence, who played Kirsty, and they were there answering people's questions, and keep in mind, I'm basing a lot of this on memory, but if memory serves right, I remember they were talking about this movie, and Doug Bradley was talking about how when they started making this movie, he was reading the script, and he saw that there was a character named Kirsty in the script, and he said that he was like, "Wonderful, you're bringing Kirsty back," and the filmmakers were like, no, that's just a character whose name happens to be Kirsty, but he managed to convince them to bring the character back and get Ashley Laurence to play Kirsty again, which, in a lot of ways, I do respect that. It shows that he really wanted to work with Ashley Laurence again and all that, but at the same time, if you're gonna bring Kirsty back, bring her back in a different Hellraiser script, because really, she's not even the main character of the script. I could think of 100 different ideas for a Hellraiser movie that brings Kirsty back. In fact, I think there was actually a comic book series which takes place 20 years after the events of the first movie, and they do bring Kirsty back in those comic books, and I haven't read the comic books yet, but from what I read up on the comics, apparently they do something very interesting with the character, which if they ever made a movie based on those comics, honestly, that could make a kick-ass Hellraiser movie. I mean, maybe I'm prejudging the comics because I haven't read them yet, but still, from what I heard about the comics, why the fuck aren't they making a movie out of those comics? But, whatever. So the plot of Hellseeker is it begins where Kirsty and her husband Trevor are in a car, they get into a car crash, they like go off a bridge into a lake, and it seems that Kirsty drowns. And Trevor, he gets out of there, and he now has amnesia, and then her body like disappears and shit. But like literally, they like kill off the character of Kirsty right in the first like 2 minutes of the movie. Well, they don't really kill her off. That leads into something later on in the movie, but basically Trevor, he has amnesia and he doesn't remember much of anything about what happened before the car accident, and basically the police are questioning him. They think foul play is involved, and Trevor, he starts putting the pieces back together for himself, and he finds out, and you as the audience member finds out that he was not a good person, like, at all, and it turns out he was into a lot of really sleazy shit, and, spoiler, he was planning on killing Kirsty anyway, because you find out in the movie, and this is where you get the brief reference to her father and her Uncle Frank. It turns out that she inherited a really large inheritance from her father and her Uncle Frank after they died, and it turns out that if Trevor kills her, he would get all the money, and so you find out in the movie that Trevor was already planning on killing Kirsty, and throughout the movie he's seeing Pinhead and the other Cenobites, and the police gave him the box, which they found a few, not too far away from the site of the accident, and I'm gonna be spoiling this whole movie. You find out at the end of the movie that Trevor's been dead the whole movie, and he was like, and since he was already a bad guy, he went to hell after he died, and basically the whole movie took place in his own personal hell, and you find out that Kirsty actually lived in the car, lived through the car accident, but literally, like, Kirsty, she's only in the movie, like, in the beginning and the end of the movie, and a little bit in flashbacks throughout, like, the parts of the movie that take place in Trevor's personal hell. I mean, it's really, they just kind of F up the character, to be honest, and, I know this review's not really explaining it very well, but I'm already forgetting half the shit that was in this movie, and I just saw the movie last night, but it's just a really lackluster sequel, in my opinion. They really might as well have not brought that character back, which I wish they didn't. And just, I don't know. I just don't care for the movie. I mean, if you like the movie, that's fine, but to me, this one just sucks, in my opinion. But, yeah, that's my review on Hellraiser, Hellseeker, and catch you later.